Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, September the 25th, and this is the Futures in 5. We've had a lot of news that sort of pushed us into a bigger space of looking at worrisome things, particularly as is coming around the bend. We're talking about these tariffs affecting things that we buy at very big establishments, right? Things like Walmart, things like whatever, your local grand department store. A lot of those things come in from China, and so those are starting to look a little worrisome. We've also seen some stuff with housing and materials, and particularly the rebuilding in the Carolinas. There's a lot of stuff going on right now in terms of making that difficult for us as consumers. So on top of that, what companies have started doing is issuing negative guidance, which is very common generally for the third quarter. 71% of the S&P is that's the median of companies that give us negative guidance. And so, you know, we've got all kinds of things likely to happen here in the third quarter, and this is a mid-term election season also coming around the bend. This is an FOMC week. We are jam-packed with news. Okay, so let's take a look. Yesterday I talked about this notion of the failed bounce, and we had a couple of those, and the fades being particularly deep. We don't normally look at the RTY, and so that is not one of the ones that I'm going to discuss this morning, but that was uh, one that showed that deep fade possible. So I do believe we are sitting in a topping formation this morning because I expected us to come into this 2932 area and fade. Now, it took us a while to do that, really in the overnight. We've had this motion run up. It should fade. Here's the thing. If it holds 2928, 2926, we've still got bullish action on the horizon. So that's what we've got to watch. Either the breach up and over this section or the failure to hold this section down here at 2924-ish. Pullbacks still ought to be buy zones. Our motions are mixed. Let's take a look at the NQ. This one did very well on the bounce. It faded fairly sharply. We had a beautiful target zone in the blog area for members at this 7474 area. And that really is, we talked about that region in the live trading room. Now we're looking at this resistance zone near 7603. Still thinking that it is going to hold. Here's the thing. If it doesn't, it's going to stretch up just a bit and hold, or fade and just fail to get below 75, 94, 91, something like that. That's going to tell us that the chart's going to have more upside motion. Okay, that's what we have to watch for. If not, it's going to fade. We've got low volume from yesterday. We have low volume from last week sitting right through the space. It's a pretty messy patch, and momentum is still largely mixed. Taking a look at the YM, look at this coming in to fill the volume pocket. Part of it, there's still this whole region. That's a low volume node, very, very shallow. So bounce action should fade, right? I'm looking at the failed bounce off of these levels across the board. You just have to wait for them. If I say yesterday, hey, listen, we have a failed bounce, it means the bounce into the level we anticipate is rejecting. And yesterday, it never got to those regions. It just simply held our support zones, which really, this is a bit lower than I suspected that it would hold. Now we're looking at 26,006 for the support region. Otherwise, we've got downside action. Charts are mixed. They are going to try and press forward. They are going to try and pull back depending on which side of the street you're on. And there are a lot of people out here realizing that there are some shorts that are pretty extended here, and so they're going to try and squeeze them. So I would say keep alert. Taking a look at oil, this one's holding the edge. Yesterday I said, hey, listen, this is the region that we should reject. Now, I called 72.83. It only came into 74.79 or 74.74, 72.74, excuse me, 72.74, something like that. Didn't come in, and now it's starting to fade. So we've got ourselves a little bit of a topping formation in my mind. Could we still hold bullish action? As long as we hold 72, there are a lot of buyers at play here. The second we start losing that, we've got some motion that we can fill in, and then there's a thin volume event all the way back to 71.25. Lastly, we take a look at gold. Faded sharply a couple of days ago, came back, held the lows, and is now in the congestion zone that's sitting right here in this shallow volume. 1205 was the level I said, hey, listen, above there, we're going to see more buyers step into the fray. The problem is when the buyers step out and into that region, the sellers go, I'll take that. And they have been selling it off of those regions, but they haven't been able to push it down. So this is a very big battle zone. Watch it between 1203 and 1206.80. You're going to find out some things going on with the chart. My supposition is that it's caught sideways into the FOMC meeting releases tomorrow. That's it for the Futures in 5.